What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, my favorite blind film critic, and today I'm still moving through some old Robert Redford movies, and this is The Way We Were. This is Robert Redford and Barbara Streisand, directed by Sydney Pollock, and while not necessarily as lauded and acclaimed as some of his other films, has turned into one of his more memorable films that I think has ended up standing the test of time. It's one of those films that was, very good in its year. Maybe not necessarily recognized as being like the best film of its year, but has gone on to uh, hold ultimately. A lot of times with Oscar movies, we get these Oscar bait movies that they hit and spark a fire quickly and then burn out, and then there's no longevity to it. Nobody ends up talking about them years down the line, and then you end up looking at Oscar nominees from 20, 30 years ago, and you go, what was that movie? Does anybody ever talk about that anymore? Did it do anything other than get a nice awards campaign? And why did we nominate that person? Oh yeah, that's right, they had never been nominated before, or oh, they were overdue for a win, whatever it is. But The Way We Were just is a nice anchored romantic drama that is oddly appropriate for the times. Weirdly so, even though it's set during McCarthyism, there are a lot of similarities that can be drawn to today. Of course, what's interesting about this is, you have two people who likely politically would have seen eye to eye in real life, having to try to play somehow divided, uh, opposite of the aisle people in this. So, um, Streisand and Redford play two people who meet, and she's more engaged politically, and he's a little bit more of laid back and not as engaged, ready to make jokes, and not as up to date on the things that are going on. She's a little bit more up to date, and but there's chemistry, there's fire, there's an instant attraction to each other. So they strike up this relationship that is sort of on again, off again. But they really want it to be on again, and they try everything in the world to make this work. But at the end of the day, differences in their ideology is what's going to pull them apart. I think this happens a lot in real life. I personally, I mean, my parents were split on the aisle, and they didn't stay married. So, I mean, I don't know if that was necessarily the singular reason, but it's just interesting to think about how many times maybe people have tried to start a relationship, and you ignore one thing that you're like, well, I that it bothers me, but I can put that away. We can work around that. And then it means that you're also having to work around a part of yourself. Somebody's having to shrink, and it ends up kind of both ways, because you don't realize that the other person is doing the same thing for you. And it's just, in a relationship, when you're supposed to be, and this is your best friend and partner, you're supposed to be completely open with, there are these beats and these moments where you're having to put on sort of a fake front. And The Way We Were sort of very nuanced, in a nuanced way, dances around that rather well. This was my first time watching it. I'd never seen it. I've heard that theme 1,000 times, but I've never actually sat down to watch The Way We Were. I was led to believe it was a lot sadder than it was. It's not, there's certainly like a melancholy to it. There's certainly this, I mean, it's not a happy movie. It's not a movie, but at the end of the movie that you stand up and start cheering. You're like, oh my God, what an inspirational ending this movie has. Uh, by the way, sorry if I spoiled this for you at all. It's came out in like 1973. I just don't even think about spoilers because like I'm a grown ass human that could have fathered a kid who'd be in college by now, and this movie is 10 years older than I am. So you've you've had plenty of time to see this. Uh yeah. So I mean, like, if somebody spoiled this for me, I wouldn't be like, what? How dare you? So, um but it's I think that's what really works about the film is that it's trying to make it work. It's trying to show this nuance, and it's doing it all in this McCarthyism, in the blacklist, the Hollywood 10. Like, they have friends who are in that Hollywood life, and there's a scene where they find that they're being recorded. You know, they find a recording device in one of their homes. So it divides and separates, and they talk about naming names. So this wasn't too far removed. It was far removed enough that they were able to comment on it without fear of necessary, political retaliation, but not too far removed from McCarthyism, from the age of McCarthyism. So, like, definitely closer to McCarthyism when this was made than we are now to 9/11, which seems weird now to think about that, because it still seems, as somebody who, I didn't live through McCarthyism, but I lived through 9/11, and to think that I'm farther away from 9/11 than this film was from McCarthyism is just a weird fact. But it's a lovely performance from Redford, and he's is doing exactly the same thing. This man got typecast as a wink and a smile type guy, just a nice guy who comes in and charms. Just a very mature performance. I don't know if he ever. I want to say something from Redford when he was like a really young actor and was allowed to be goofy. Did that ever happen for him, or was he always just like wise for his age in every single role that he ever played? He's just like, he comes in and he's just like, hey, I'm Robert Redford, and I'm here, and women love me. I mean, he just comes in with that like assured confidence in everything that I'm seeing now that I'm going back through all these films. And even when he's joking, it's not the same way that other actors joke. He feels like he's joking from this wise, mature point. It's a way he carries himself that's completely different. He feels substantially older than he is in any given moment, even in the lighter moments, even when he's trying to make a joke. He seems like he's always the older person in every single scene. He could be younger. He could be 10 years younger than his counterparts, and he would feel like he was right at home. So Streisand, on the other end, this is a lovely performance from her, where she just gets to act and play realistically a woman, and who just has thoughts, who actually who's politically minded and is moving through life that way. So, and of course, the complications of the relationship and the back and the forth, and the can we try to make this happen, and it's just the sort of the sad way that everything ends. But it ends not in like a big explosive blow up way where everybody storms off in the end. It ends just sort of like we're watching the wick on a candle burn out, and it just kind of, well, eventually there's no more candle left. Eventually that candle's gonna burn out. So of no fault of anything, nobody stopped it. It just ran out. So this relationship just ran its course, and two people just realized it, lovely direction from Sydney Pollock. Obviously, it's hard to say that this is his best film just because of his filmography, but again, I think sometimes what we look at, and it's harder to do it now. Like now we can sit here and we can go to film festivals and we can talk about all these amazing films that are being thrust upon the Academy Awards, and we hit them in the moment. But it's hard to know which ones will actually stand out, which ones will actually have longevity, because oftentimes plenty of films that end up having longevity aren't the ones that win the Oscars. They aren't even the ones that get nominated for the Oscars. Sometimes they end up missing out on Oscars altogether, but yet we look back on them years later as being like, why wasn't this film nominated at the Academy Awards? So, hindsight 2020. I think The Way We Were is something that has garnered a following for itself over the years. And you can see that with Redford's passing. And like I rent my movies through Apple Store if I'm going to rent anything, and anytime an actor passes away, basically their filmography populates the top 100, so you can kind of see like who had the most, like which films were the most beloved. And yes, Butch Cassidy is his number one, but The Way We Were is like top 5. It's like one of his top 5 films on there. So I think that's a sign of people wanted to revisit this film as being one of his more iconic works. Oddly enough, more people are revisiting this than ordinary people. The one film he won the Academy Award for, which I know he's not on screen for, but it is the reason you get to say Academy Award winner Robert Redford. So anyway, The Way We Were, I liked this movie. I thought it was lovely. Yes, it's sad, but it can still be lovely. It can still be very just thoughtful. That's what I would say about this film. I thought it was thoughtful. I thought it was a nice, thoughtful piece. And it does have all of the beats that I expected it to have. And it gave me what I wanted and what I expected out of it. Is it my favorite Redford movie? No. Is it my favorite Streisand movie? No. But I think it's a perfectly fine film and good, and I would recommend it. And I totally understand why everybody else has loved this movie. But yeah, no, it's not his best work. It's not her best work, but it's a lovely contender for any sort of top 5 that you're trying to list for either one of them. So that's not a bad choice either. Same thing with Pollock and his direction. It's not his best direction, but it's debatably in there. You could rank it anywhere from 2 to 5 comfortably for any of these people. So yeah, I think it's great. So I'm going to give The Way We Were an 8.1 out of 10. We're going to go with that. 8.1 out of 10, Way We Were. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.